Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th Annual Ochi Courage Awards. We look forward to another very powerful evening as we celebrate and inspire courage and the positive power of no. Many of you were in this room in 2016 when we presented our Courage Award to then Vice President Biden and posthumously to his son, Beau. We had hoped that tonight, now President Biden, could be here again to present this award he received to President Zelensky. Unfortunately, President Biden is traveling and in Syracuse today, but so that his words could be with us tonight, he sent a letter from which I'll read a few excerpts. President Biden said, quote, "Men and women of courage can change the fate of nations. It happened during World War II when Axis forces came demanding Greece's surrender, but the Greek people only had one word, ochi, no. With that one word, they said no to oppression, no to submission, no to defeat. Greece never bowed to tyranny, and it inspired the world through its commitment to standing up for what is right, a legacy that both President Zelensky and Masa Linejad carry on today. In President Zelensky, the people of Ukraine have a leader worthy of their bravery and sacrifice. Over the last 8 months, his devotion to duty has inspired purpose, hope, and determination in so many, and honored the heroic women and men of Ukraine who are fighting for their country's democracy. They have proven that the power of many will always be greater than the will of any one dictator, and that courage can conquer darkness. For decades, Masa Linejad has said no to repression and intimidation, refusing to stay silent in the face of fear. Despite direct threats to her own life, Masa has stood in support of Iranian women who continue to be denied their basic dignity and fundamental freedoms. Her courage inspires the world to stand in solidarity with the women of Iran, ensure their voices are heard, and speak out against violence and oppression. As we celebrate these two remarkable leaders, I'm reminded of something my mother used to tell me. Now you can tell this is actually a letter from President Biden. Sounds like him, right? So his mother used to say, quote, "Bravery resides in every heart, and someday it will be summoned." President Zelensky and Masa Linejad have summoned the courage to choose the right course, even when it was the harder course. Their powerful example has inspired people all around the world to summon their own courage and defend freedom. Their commitment reminds us that the darkness of autocracy is no match for the flame of liberty, that courage of one person can light the souls of free people everywhere, and that hope and freedom will always win over fear and tyranny. Thank you, Mr. President. So we would now like to thank those who make the work of our foundation possible, our generous sponsors. They include our gold sponsors, the Nicholas J. and Anna K. Burris Foundation, John P. Calamos Foundation, Vasilios S. and Aphrodite B. Hasiotis Family Foundation in Manatos and Manatos. Our silver sponsors, Jim Chanos, Danielle and Pete Carmanos, the Libra Group, George and Judy Marcus, the James and Theodore Pettis Family Foundation, and Michael and Robin Psaros. And a number of bronze sponsors, including those who are with us tonight, Leon and Robin Andrus, Atlantic Bank, Stuart Eisenstadt, the Hatsopoulos family, the Mistras family, Pawn and Lynn Peters, Karina Gerontis and John Stratakis, Peter Vergados, and Varys Law. And we would like to give a special thanks to the person who, behind the scenes, juggle all the many balls that make tonight so special, our foundation's secret weapon, Elizabeth Fagan. Liz, thank you. Now, we have with us tonight a large number of prominent U.S. policymakers, opinion leaders, and thought leaders that, rather than run through them all on the microphone, we have them listed as an insert in your program. Now, if I could get your particular attention, because we'd now like to recognize some remarkable individuals who are with us tonight, who either were honored in previous years or honored earlier today. And we would ask that each of them, when their name is called, please stand for applause while we honor your Ochi courage. First, we have, representing the 2014 Greatest Generation Award recipients, World War II veterans and brothers Nicholas and Sam Burris, is Burris Foundation trustee, the Honorable B. Theodora Bozanellis. The recipient of the 2021 Calamos Service Award for his service in Vietnam, Peter Vergados. Now, in 2014, President Bill Clinton nominated and introduced Courage Award recipient and photojournalist James Foley. I know many of you in this room were there that night. Just weeks after the world lost James, his parents, Diane and John Foley, stood on the stage to accept the Oki Courage Award for their son, showing great courage themselves. They now honor his memory with the James Foley Legacy Foundation, which inspires moral courage. Please welcome Foley Foundation co-founders and James' proud father and mother, John and Diane Foley. In 2018, our Courage Award went to the leading Russian democracy activist and survivor, Vladimir Kara-Murza. When Russia invaded Ukraine earlier this year, Vladimir became one of the leading Russian voices of opposition. Despite a new Russian law forbidding speaking out against the war, Vladimir flew to Russia and did exactly that. In a CNN interview on April 10th, he called Russia's current government, quote, a regime of murderers. The next day, he was arrested and thrown in jail. On October 6th, he was charged with high treason and faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. We are deeply honored to have with us tonight, and speaking later in the program, his wife, Evgenia, along with their two daughters, Katya and Sonia. And finally, every year prior to our evening Courage Awards, the Washington Oki Day Foundation holds its Service Awards during the day just hours ago at an equally powerful and moving ceremony at the National World War II Memorial just a couple blocks from here. We honor individuals for their brave service to our country in World War II, Korea, and the Vietnam War. Their remarkable stories of service to our country and continued service to the Greek American community are in your programs. As we recognize each of them, please join me in giving them a warm round of applause for their Oki service. First, we have the recipient of the 2022 Kalamos Service Award for service in Vietnam. He is the recipient of the highest military honor one can receive, the Congressional Medal of Honor, given to select few who risk their lives and go above and beyond the call of duty. In fact, in the 158-year history of this award, for every 12,000 soldiers who fought in war, only one is selected to receive this prestigious award. He is joined by fellow Vietnam veteran, recipient of our Jaharis Service Award, chairman of the National Hellenic Museum, and the person after whom this award is named. Please welcome Vietnam veterans Colonel Jack Jacobs and John Kalamos. Next, the 2022 Vasilios S. Hasiotis Service Award for service in World War II was presented posthumously to Dr. George Hatsopoulos. Representing him tonight is his son, Nico Hatsopoulos, accompanied by the Defense Attaché of the Hellenic Republic, Colonel Panagiotis Vlachopoulos. Finally, the recipient of the 2022 Oki Service Award for service in Korea was George Pappas. As a teenager, George fought in Greece in the resistance against the Nazis. He then came to the United States and was drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War. He was unable to join us this evening, but representing him tonight is his son, who introduced him earlier today. George Pappas' son just happens to be the highest-ranking Greek American in the U.S. military and one of only 17 four-star generals in the U.S. Army. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commanding General of the United States Army Forces, General Andrew Pappas.